Hello everyone, welcome to EduChants. We are with a new video on KVS PRT, TGT, PGT, Perspective on Education classes. And we'll be starting with a new batch. And this video is of your previous year questions asked in 2018 PRT and TGT as well as PGT examination. And in this video, I will explain and analyze all the questions regarding your pedagogy or perspective on education. Now, see, perspective on education classes are very important because 40 marks as well as 60 marks from PRT and TGT respectively comes from this perspective on education or pedagogy classes. So, perspective on education is very much important if you are preparing KVS, PRT, TGT or PGT. In every form of examination of KVS, it is very important. That is why I am going to analyze the questions asked in previous year papers, and simultaneously daily video will be uploaded on perspective on education, right? So this is a class prepared by me, and currently I'm working as assistant professor, former lecturer, as well as TGT Arts, former TGT Arts, and I've qualified 2 times NET and JRF. So let us start. Before moving on, I would like to say that if you want such videos and if you want any type of video regarding education, subscribe this channel, press the bell icon, and like this video. Join Telegram and raise your query in the comment box what type of video you want. So without wasting time, let us start. Now this is the paper of KVS PRT asked in 2018. After 2018, this is 2022. So majorly it is 4 years of gap, and that is why vacancies are large, around 6,400, right? Okay, the first question. Which of the following are important barriers in the equalization of educational opportunities? Options are differences in economic states of learners, gender disparities, common school system, differences in the standards of educational institutions. So there are certain codes given. You have to select the right pair of answers. Now see, first of all, we will, along with the answers, we will analyze the answer and we will prepare for the 2023 examination. Now, barriers means obstacles, those who are, acting as an obstacle or barrier in equalization of educational opportunities. Now, for whom we provide equalization? To the disadvantaged group. There are certain disadvantaged group or deprived group. Example, SCs, STs, women, minorities, person with disabilities, they are called as disadvantaged group. Now, we want them to get educational opportunities equally. That is why we have to, eradicate all the barriers of education. So, you have to now select which of the following are important barriers. Differences in economic states of learner, one barrier. Gender disparity, another barrier. Differences in the standard of educational institution, another barrier. But common school system is not a barrier. Now see, economic states of learner, that means different learners come from different economic status, different economic background. Some of them come from good families, middle class families, upper class families, but some are labor class family, lower class family, right? Like gender disparity, as you all know, male, female, transgender, different gender roles are being given, and it acts as a barrier. Differences in the standards of educational institution. Some are CBSE, some are ICSE, some are state schools. Some schools are excellent, center of excellence, but some schools are, downtrodden schools, or you can say village schools, interior schools, where no teachers are there, only one teacher is, taking all the class. So there are also differences in standards of educational institution. But common school system is not a barrier, but a good initiative of the government to implement common school system. That means everywhere 10 plus 2 plus 3 system will be followed. The same kind of syllabus will be provided, right? So this is how common school system works. That means common school system is a facilitator, not a barrier. That means A, B, and D. We have to find out. Yes, A, B, D is the right answer. That is why let us check the right answer. Then yes, C is the right answer. As you can see, right? A, B, D, not common school system. Okay. Let us move on to the second question. Which of the following is not characteristic of the socially and emotionally mature person? That means what is, that means which is not, it is asking not characteristic of the socially and emotionally mature person. If a person is socially as well as emotionally mature, emotionally adult or emotionally socially balanced, then what will not be a characteristic of such a person? First, he makes conformity to social expectations his primary goal. That means the person is his or her primary goal or the first goal is social expectation. you know he or she wants to satisfy the social expectations. Second is he is relatively free from anxiety and conflict. He is not in any form of anxiety, any form of conflict. He is very much balanced. He is capable of exercising control in the face of emotional stress. He or she is capable of controlling the emotional stress. He has a sense of humor and positive outlook on life. Sense of humor, he is having a good sense of humor as well as positive outlook on life. Now see, it is correct. Why? Because socially emotionally mature person, they are always positive in their outlook, and they are also capable of handling emotion, as well as they are free from anxiety and conflict. But the answer is A. Why? Because primary goal should be your personal expectation. you know Personal expectation. You have to fulfill your own expectations, your goals. Then you move on to the social expectation. But social expectation is not your primary goal. Primary goal should be for satisfying yourself, for satisfying your family needs, as well as your personal needs. Then you go for social expectation. That is why it is not a characteristic of socially emotionally mature person. Question number 3. What cannot be visualized as a role of the teacher in teaching through problem solving method? Now, what is problem solving method? Problem solving method of teaching is a teaching method where a teacher provides with certain condition of the teacher, of the student. They will be put, the student will be put in a problematic situation. They will be given certain challenges and they have to solve the problem, and through their solving they will learn many things. So what cannot be visualized, that means what cannot be done in problem solving method? So assist the students in perceiving, defining and stating the problem. Now the teacher will assist the student, will help the student in perceiving, defining and stating the problem. What is the problem? Where is the problem? How to solve the problem? The student will do, but the teacher will guide. It is okay. Assist student in finding appropriate solution to the problem. Just I have already told you that you have to help the student how to find out the solution. Then create fear-free atmosphere in the class. Now, everywhere there is punishment-free zones. So you have to put them in a situation or atmosphere where they are very much free to exercise their own power. That means they are free from fear. We should not punish them, we should not threaten them like this. So all are correct, but creating the problem situation, it cannot be done at every situation because the problem is huge. You cannot create a same situation everywhere. Say for example, you cannot create Bhopal gas tragedy again and will tell student how to eradicate them or how to control the situation. You cannot do the same. Okay, you cannot create the problem situation for the students to do the problem solving method. Okay, next. So the answer is A, definitely. Fourth one, the concept of IEP. Remember this thing. IEP in education stands for Individualized Education Plan. Is not based upon the idea. First of all, let us understand what is Individualized Educational Plan. Simple. When we focus every individual, say for example, in a class, there are 30 students. In a balanced classroom, the ratio is always 1 is to 30. 30 in every 30 student, there will be one teacher. Now, this one teacher will definitely focus on the group, but in individualized education plan, the teacher, the single teacher, should have plan to address all the needs of each and every 30 students. That means whole 30 students are a common group, but you have to focus every child. You have to focus every child. So you have to plan accordingly. That is why it is called as individualized education plan. When we plan according to every individual of the group, it is known as individualized education plan. So the concept of individualized education plan is not based on the idea of what? Current strengths of the learner. That means what are the strengths of the learner right now? Individual goals to be achieved. What are the goals of different students? Use of cooperative learning strategies. You have to use some cooperative learning strategy where every student or they will, cooperate each other. They will collaborate each other to learn many things. Then separating children on the basis of ability grouping. We have to separate them. We have to segregate the children into different groups according to their ability. So the question is asking which is not the based on individualized education plan. So first is yes, it is based because you have to analyze the strength of the learner. Individual goal is to be achieved. Then cooperative learning strategies should be there, but not the separating of children on the basis of their ability. That means we should not separate them according to their ability because we should make a heterogeneous group. Heterogeneous group, right? Heterogeneous means combination of or mixture of different students from different abilities from different age groups. Okay, so here you have to provide them individualized education, but you should not segregate regarding among the student according to their ability, right? Next, what is not a major concern of the school on the development of child's language competence? That means which is not a major concern of the school for the child's language competence. As far as language competence is concerned, which of the following is not a concern? That means the school should not focus on this particular concern or topic. Which of the following? That means issues related to articulation and literacy. That means how the student is articulating the language and how far he or she is learning the literature, etc. Enhancing vocabulary quantum. That means how much vocab or how many vocabulary he or she is learning every day. Ability to use language and create. That means how the student is using the language and creating many things, and to think and communicate with others. How the student is thinking and communicating with others. So definitely the answer is enhancing quantum of vocabulary. That means school is concerned regarding your articulation, how you pronounce the words, how you articulate, what are your literacy rate, or what are your performance in literature, then how you use your language and creating new things, and to think and communicate, how you communicate with others. These are important, but enhancing vocabulary quantum is not important. Why? I'm telling you one example. If you are learning 50 vocabularies every day, 50 vocabs every day, and suddenly you move to 120 vocabs per day. Okay. Now it is up to you that what you want. You want to learn 50 vocabs a day or 120 vocabs a day. Vocab means some words, their meaning, etc. You are learning every day. Name of the vegetables, name of different houses where they live, right? Name of different flowers, name of different fruits, then vegetables, etc. So you are learning many vocabulary and it depends upon you School is not going to check how many vocabulary you have learned, how many vocabulary you have memorized. It is not of their concern. Okay, next. What type of efforts are needed to be made in learning of mathematics in early primary years, that is up to class 4? That means what should we do? What efforts should we make to learn mathematics at early primary stage, that is up to class 4? So diagnosing learning difficulties of the student, providing enrichment programs, completing the course or competencies, ensuring regularity in attending the class or school, which are to be done. That means which are needed to be made. Definitely you have to provide some enrichment program. Now, these two options are incorrect, but these two options are confusing. Why? Many people will think we will diagnose the problem, what are the problem the students are facing, and we will provide the solution. But no, here they are not asking about you some problem. What efforts are needed to make in learning of mathematics in early primary years? That means what should you do to improve the learning of primary years of mathematics? So you have to provide some enrichment program. Enrichment program means in government of Odisha there are certain Utkarsh, Utthan program where people or students are being engaged into some different programs or different learning textbooks. Okay, they are learning from different textbook to get to know many things. Okay, apart from their own textbook, they are learning another textbook for their enrichment. That is why it is known as enrichment program, where the student will learn mathematics in a different way, in a different program, in a different scenario. Okay, moving on to the next question. 7. Which of the following is not a mode of computer assisted learning? Now there are two things, CAL and CAI. Okay, CAL, computer assisted learning. Now the question, these are the previous year question only. The question itself is quite incorrect, I may say. Computer aided learning. It is computer aided learning and computer assisted instruction. Okay, so it is quite contrary, but what can we do, because the paper is already done and the results are already done. It is the paper of 2018. So just for information, remember these things, these two things. CAL means computer aided learning and computer assisted instruction. Okay, now what is computer assisted learning or aided learning? That means with the help of computer you are learning. That is why it is known as computer aided learning. So which of the following is not a mode of computer assisted learning? Now tutorial. Now this is where you are holding your computer, you are operating your computer, and you are watching EduChants for all the videos. That is why you are taking tutorial. Yes, it is fine. Drill and practice. You are provided with mock tests and drill practices. You are doing that. Data interpretation and drawing conclusion is also done through computer assisted learning or aided learning, but not modeling. Modeling means how will you show, how you will show something, how to make. Say for example, I am sculpture making, or you may say idol making. I am making idol of Sri Ganesh, and I want to show you all, but you can only watch me. You cannot do it properly, because unless and until you do your own thing, you cannot model them. You cannot copy them. You have to see, or you have to focus directly so that you can do it properly. But without any modeling, without any direct experience, only through computer aided learning, you cannot model them, you cannot copy the idea of others. Next one, a school curriculum can be best defined as. School curriculum can be best defined as. What is a school curriculum then? A complete array of course of study, all the materials used to further pupils' activities, a complete set of organized experience in the school, some total of knowledge to be provided to learners. Now let us understand what is curriculum. Curriculum is divided into two types. Curriculum. In curriculum, there will be curricular activities, curricular and co-curricular. There is nothing called extracurricular. Curricular means those who are related to your academics. Co-curricular means those who are related apart from your academics. That means sports, music, dance, drama, competition, essay competition, drama, debate, right, painting, etc. These are called co-curricular. Now the curriculum is also known as race course, or that is to be done. That is to be done. That means in curriculum, it will be prescribed that what type of curriculum, what type of course of study you will have, what type of uniform, what type of discipline you should maintain. So all these things, that means whatever you are doing in your school, whatever a child is doing in the school, starting from the prayer to the class and to the recess, or you may say tiffin break, or in last going to home from the school, everything is under the curriculum. That means option C will be the correct answer. School curriculum is defined as a complete set of organized experience. Now see why it is called as organized experience, because curriculum not only contains the courses of study. It is not about contents only. The child is learning from the walls, learning from the nature, learning from seniors, learning from teachers, learning from headmaster, etc. Now, whatever he learns from the premises of a school is known as school curriculum. That is why it is known as the sum total of experiences. Okay. Next, the most important issue of a multi-level situation where multi-level students are there, what type of problem do you face? Seeking cooperation among students, class size exceeds 30, addressing the learning needs of different level of students of different grades simultaneously, then arranging appropriate TLM. So answer is C. Multi-level situation. Say for example, you are providing coaching to a 6th class student as well as 12th class student, and as well as LKG student. Okay, you will face problem because all these people or students are from different level. Definitely, at this point of time, you will face that you are not addressing the needs of different level of student. They are different at their own level of different grades simultaneously. You cannot focus all the students simultaneously because they are different. Okay, next. A child takes a favorite book and retells the story, often by using pictures as cues. Remember the word pictures. He or she uses pictures as cues. At what process or stage or component does he or she demonstrates? Demonstrate means showing. How or what at what stage he or she will demonstrate, that means show. Now see, narrative means to explain the story, but not using picture here. Syntactic awareness, that means syntax, the structure. Okay, it is also good, but it is not for demonstration. Emergent reading, that means you have to read out the story. This is not done. But phonological awareness, that means phonology means the study of voices. Study of voices. Now, some people, what they do is they remember the voice, or they follow the voice, and they connect the voice with some object, with some object, right? With some object. They do this thing. They will, catch your voice and they will relate it with some singer, some dancer, some actor, like that. So, at this stage, student often tells a story using picture as cues, and he or she will demonstrate at this point of time, at this process. That means phonological awareness is the right answer. Next question. A teacher would become more effective. Teacher would become more effective in his or her approach if he or she uses good instructional aid, he or she helps student to ask question, he or she helps student to achieve mastery learning, or students score high marks. This is not the right thing. This is not the right thing also. he or she helps student to ask questions sometimes, yes, but no, the answer would be he or she uses good instructional aid. Say for example, you are a teacher, you are going to teach geography or history. Say for example, history you are going to teach. So history is always student. I know it is not good to say, but many students will say history is a boring chapter, right? But as a teacher, you have to make it more effective, make it more interesting. That is why you should take at least a picture of any historical event. You can prepare a timeline of history. You can take some pictures of national war of independence, right? So these are some pictures or instructional aids you can take with you so that the student would be interested to see what you are doing or what you are teaching, right? So instructional aids or teaching aids are very much important for teaching or for effective teaching. Next, social maturity is best characterized by. What is social maturity and what are its characteristics? Now, social maturity means how one person is, matured, behave maturely in a society or in a group, right? Now, the right answer is high degree of integration of one's needs and purpose with those of the social order. That means a person is fulfilling the personal need as well as the social need, right? Personal as well as social need. That is why it is known as social maturity. Next is match the two sets 1 and 2 with the stages of development according to Jean Piaget, right? Now Jean Piaget, a Swiss psychologist from Switzerland. Now the most important theory is cognitive development theory. And according to the cognitive development theory, there are 4 stages of development: sensory motor, pre-operational, concrete operational, and formal operational. I will cover up all these points or all these classes, all these theories in psychology class. Don't be worried. Today, we are only discussing about previous year question and analyzing the type of question asked in different examinations or different parts of examination like PRT, PGT, and TGT. And according to your syllabus, I will make new videos on concept. This is question answer based. I will prepare concepts, and after that I will prepare MCQs, expected MCQs. Okay. Now you have to match the set one with their important developments or important events of life. Now at the sensory motor, the child always have a tendency known as object permanence. What they see, they keep in their mind always. If he or she looks at his mom, then he or she will lock the face in their mind. Yes, object permanent. Then pre-operational, at pre-operational they're very much egocentric. That means thinking about themselves only. They will plead for, they will plead for you, that means plead for a ice cream, for an ice cream at night, at midnight. Okay, they will not be calm until and unless you give an ice cream. They don't care how you get the ice cream, but they're very much eager to satisfy their own need. Egocentrism. Then concrete operational, it is reversible thinking. Reverse, they can now they can think logically. Yes, those are going out will one day come back. Okay, if I throw any stone to the sky, it will definitely come down. Reversible thinking. Then at formal stage, it is deductive, hypothetical deductive thinking. You can say formal operational stage or adolescence, you can say. So the option A is the correct answer. Okay. Which of the following best describe the effect of heredity upon development? What is the effect of heredity? Now, development is affected by heredity as well as heredity and environment. Right? Now, the heredity, that means the chromosome, the chromosomal, the effect on your development. Now you have to select one option. Heredity determines how far we will go. It determines how far we can go. It is the prime determinant of how far we will go. and it is the prime determinant how far we can go. So answer would be B. Why? It determines how far we can go. We can go to some extent. That means our heredity, permits us to go to some extent. We can go, but not will go. We will go means we will go means definitely we will go. But you cannot say yes, definitely I will go because your heredity doesn't permit you. Next is identification of learning gaps of children and plugging them is done through. That means there are certain learning gaps among children. Sometimes children are not able to grasp all the contents. There are some learning gaps. That means uh, till this they have understood, and after that they have not understood this part. They have not understood. This is called as learning gap. And when we plug them, that means when we cover all these things, all the doubts of the student, it is known as, or it is done through team teaching, no; reflective teaching, no; reteaching, no; remedial teaching, which is done at Navodaya Vidyalayas, etc. Remedial teaching, whatever they have not learned, you have to take extra class, or remedial teaching, then you'll have to provide them the class. Okay. Next. You have administered a test on mathematics. Suppose you are a maths teacher of class 5. You have taken a test on mathematics. Most of your students have failed. Okay. Most of the students. If you have done a test on 30 students, around 19 students have failed. You have to construct and administer another test. Now you have to construct another test. Which test would you prefer? Which type of test would you prefer? Summative test. Now let us understand what is summative test. It is done at the end of a course. End of a course, end of a program. Mastery test to test the mastery or competency or depth of knowledge, right? Then formative, it is always oriented towards feedback, suggestion. It is a continuous process. But diagnostic means to find out the problem. Diagnostic means find out problem. Okay. Now, so many people have failed. So definitely you will go for diagnostic test. Why? Because you should know why 19 I mean 11 people have failed or 19 people have failed. What is the reason? What should I do to improvise my learning as well as students' learning? Second, 17th question. Emotional response to symbolic stimuli is primarily the result of emotional response. That means certain symbolic stimuli. Stimuli means some input. Symbolic means having a number, having an alphabet, or having a verbal expression, right? Now, symbolic stimuli is primarily the result of emotional response. That means sometimes when we see something or when we go through something, we always get emotional. Say for example, sometimes when we see the photo of different gods, when we get emotional, right? In different wars, if we see many people have died in war, then it is also a kind of emotional response. So this is the result of what? Maturation, learning, adjustment, increased sensory perception. Definitely, answer is increased sensory perception, because you are now grown up, your senses are very active right now. So it is known as increased sensory perception. Next is a generalized view or characteristics that ought to be possessed by a woman and men constitute. That means when we grow up in our society, we have to possess, we have to be identified as men and women, and there are some characteristics of men as well as women. These are called what? These are called gender role. That means different gender roles are given to women and men. If you are woman, then you have to clean up the house, you have to be silent, you have to be passive. But if you are men, you have to be masculine, you have to be very strong, you don't have to be emotional, right? You have to handle all the pressures like this. So these are some gender roles provided to different genders. Next is the best way to handle a wrong response of a student would be. Say for example, in your class, a student is answering wrong. What should you do? to explain the subject matter in detail again, to tell the student that your answer is wrong, to ask another student to give the correct answer, to explain and give another chance to give answer. That means you are asking a question and student is answering wrong. You should not retell the story again. You should not retell the story again if it is not so necessary. And you should not tell the student that your answer is wrong. We cannot say that your answer is wrong. Please sit. Please be seated. You cannot say like that because they are student. They have freedom to say also. To ask another student to give answer. If I don't know the answer, I will say, okay, Ram, you stand up, you tell the answer to him. No, we cannot say that. Because if we say so, then the student will definitely know, sir is knowing nothing, sir don't know anything, he is just teaching the class without knowing anything. So D will be the right answer because here the student is giving wrong response, but we should explain and give another chance to give some right answers. Okay, we should say, okay, it is fine, but try to give the right answer. You can explain again. We will give them chance. Next is micro teaching is a technique used for those who have done B.Ed. Definitely they would have known about micro teaching. They have done micro teaching. Micro teaching does not mean it is a small size class. No, teaching in simulated condition. No, preparation of teacher in specific teaching skill. Yes, and difficult concept. That means it is the best answer. All these are quite related to micro teaching, but the best answer is preparation of teacher in specific teaching school. Say for example, asking question is a skill, and probing the question or probing the answer is also a technique, or you can say a technique of learning. That is why in micro teaching you have to prepare yourself with some micro teaching skills or specific teaching skills. Okay, now this is all about your PRT examination of KVS held in 2018. Okay, so far we have discussed 20 questions were there. Now we will move on to the TGT 2018 questions of KVS. Okay, and we have to be quite quick right now. Let us understand first question. When a teacher sets a task that is above the student's current ability level, she is likely to. That means, say for example, a student is learning at class 8, but we are giving them class 9th level maths or science or English. What the teacher is trying to do is repeat the same content a number of times? No. Create a communication barrier? No. Minimize the effect of noise? No. But to generate interest and motivation among children. That means the students are not able to do the maths at such a such a age where such an age where they are of class 8, but we are providing them class 9 because they would be more interested and motivated to complete the maths of an upper class. Okay, next, which of the following is a better strategy for teaching children with special need? That means CWSN, children with special need. How should we teach them? Discussion in the classroom involving maximum number of students. This is nothing to do with the CWSM. Demonstration by teacher involving student. No, this is also not done because there are some visually impaired students, those who cannot see your demonstration. Then ability grouping for teaching. Ability grouping means those who are having a special ability. Say for example, some are able to say, then they are grouped according to their ability, and some are not able or disable. You can say they are CWS, and we can group them in a specific group. No, this should not be done because we have to make a heterogeneous group, a mixture of different people. Okay, so the answer will be cooperative learning and peer tutoring. That means if there are some handicapped children or CWSN or children with special need, we should try to focus on cooperative learning, how the student will cooperate among each other, and peer tutoring. A student or a friend of the CWSN should help another student to get all the learning materials and concept as well. Third question, people's belief about their capabilities to produce designated level of performance that exercise influence over events that affect their lives are known as. This is a long definition of what? Long definition of self-efficacy. Now I will, summarize it. Self-efficacy means you are capable. Self-efficacy means what you are capable of. You are capable of doing what? You are capable of performing what? That is what we call as self-efficacy. Say, for example, you are confident that you can crack KVS 2023. So you are self-efficient. Your self-efficacy is very high. Next, insight may be defined as, in psychology, insight means what? Insight means a form of intuition closely related to instinct. No, this is not instinct. Systematic application of the scientific method to the solution of a problem. This is research. This is not insight. Form of inspiration involved in creativity. This is creativity or motivation, not insight. Insight is sudden reorganization of experience. You suddenly remember something. Oh my God, yes, I remember you. Like that. It is called insight. Okay. Next. An indigenous teaching aid is not indigenous. What do you mean by indigenous? Indigenous means made in India. That is what we normally understand. But it is actually made of material from far away place. It is not made of material from far away place. It is not imported material. It is not imported from outside the country. That means it is done in our country only. It is developed in our country only. Spearman's theory of intelligence is to Thorndike. That means it is, it is a ratio question. Ratio. Spearman is to Thorndike. What is their relation? Spearman is to Thorndike. Now, you know about Spearman's theory. Charles Spearman, two-factor intelligence theory. Two-factor intelligence theory. And Thorndike, you know very well. Thorndike theory of intelligence as well as trial and error learning theory. So that is why you can say the two factor, that means G factor and S factor of learning, general factor of learning as well as special factor of learning. That means these are innate. It is already there in you. That is why it is innate. And Thorndike says everything is to be acquired from the environment or learning, that is known as acquired. So C would be the right answer. You don't have to check much. Which one of the following cannot be a criterion while designing curriculum? Now see, criteria. Criteria is plural form, and criterion is singular. So which of the following cannot be a criterion while designing curriculum? We are designing curriculum, and what should not be done or what should not be a criterion? Definitely you can see the first option, educational level of parents. Whatever the parents are doing or whatever the educational qualification of parents, it does not really matter. You have to focus on the performance of the learner, abilities of the learner, aspirations of the learner. These are some indicators that will be helpful in designing curriculum, but not the educational level of the parents. Next is the law of effect. Again, E.L. Thorndike, the primary laws. Law of effect means what? Learning or non-learning of a response is related to satisfaction it provides. Definitely A is the right answer. You don't have to look deep into it. I'm explaining how. We have already studied in E.L. Thorndike theory. One is reward, one is punishment. Okay. Now, say for example, you have done an art. You have done an art of, say for example, Sri Krishna art you have done. You are showing it to your friend and they clap it for you. They clap for you. Wow, what a painting. It is very nice, really very talented you are. Then you'll definitely try to make another art of different god or different scenario, right? But if they will mock you that you are just a bullshit, you don't have any task to do, this painting is just the stupid thing, Okay, so definitely you are not going to show them again. That means if you are getting reward, then your behavior will be continued, and if you get punishment, your behavior will be restricted to the point only. Okay. Next question, the information and communication technology or ICT has not been able to gain momentum in Indian rural schools because why ICT is not implemented in rural schools or village schools? Why? Because rural areas, power failure, most of the time it is a cost. Yes, it is, but not the prime cause. Rural population has not a very favorable mindset for ICT. It is also there, but it is not sufficient enough. It involves complex terminologies. It is also there, but it is not sufficient enough. What is sufficient enough then? Definitely C. It is a costly affair. If you think of ICT, you think of different gadgets, and it is of lakhs rupees. This is not in thousand, this is in lakhs. So you have to think about the price first. Then you have to install the ICT. Then our the training courses for special education are regulated by one of the favorite question of education asked in different types of examination. I have seen 4 times this question is repeated 4 times in different examinations, not exactly KVS, but also in different areas. Training courses for special education. That means the education, special education means the education provided to the person with disable or children with special needs. Okay. Now, special education is regulated by NCT, no. NCRT, no. Ministry of Social Defense, no. RCI or Rehabilitation Council of India. It gives certificate to the disabled person as well as it takes care of the special education. Slapping, spanking children is not considered appropriate for disciplining children. Which of the following techniques would you recommend as an alternative to harsh punishment? That means we have seen many teachers are slapping and spanking their children or students in different issues. Okay, suppose say for example, a student is very notorious in your class. You are very, you are out of your control and you slap the child, then definitely he or she is going to put a file against you, and definitely you are going to face court. That is why this should not be done, because punishment free zones, everywhere the school is known as punishment free zones. So what are the alternative to your punishment? Time out, withdrawal of privilege, modeling. Time out means give them some time. Modeling means try to model them, try to say that yes, I am very good, you should be also good. That should not be done. Withdrawal of privileges, that means we should withdraw some privileges. That means if you are focusing on the child and you are giving a toffee every day, stop giving toffee to them. Okay, they will know that, oh, my teacher is very angry because I have not done the homework, like this. So answer B only. That means withdrawal of privileges only will be the correct answer. Next, according to PWD Act 1995, a person with disability is one who suffers from not less than dash percent of any disability as identified by medical authority. So what is the minimum percentage of disability so that you will be considered as PWD or person with disability? 40, 30, 50, 60. One of the easiest question. Minimum 40% disability. If you have minimum 40% of disability, then you are regarded as person with disability. Then what is the greatest obstacle in inclusion? If we are talking about inclusion, what is the obstacle? What acts as a barrier for inclusion? Definitely, first one, social barrier. In our society, there are different barriers. Like first, their mindset. They are definitely, say for example, a person with a disability with the physical impairment is walking around the class or walking around the corner, walking around the park. You will definitely say he is a limb, he is a deaf, okay, he is physically handicapped, he is a PWD. That means in our society we don't respect them. That is the first obstacle and the most important obstacle of inclusion. Next is, which is the most important skill to promote effective communication? What are important skills To improve effective communication, you have to choose one among the following. Risk taking. Risk taking is a skill. I should not consider it as a skill because it is not at all good. Quick responding. If you are asking question, one is answering quickly. Yes, it is good, but it is not needed for effective communication. Non-verbal cues. That means gesture. You are, waving your hand, come here. You are, waving your hand. You are, providing cues non-verbally. That is not effective communication. For effective classroom, you should always listen actively. Okay. It is said that a good listener is a good speaker because first you listen to others, first you listen to different views, then you speak the truth, then you speak the summary, right? So active listening is very important to promote effective communication. Next, IEDC, that means Integrated Education for Disabled Children, first launched during which year? 1960, 70, 80, 90. Let me tell you the answer as well as the exact year. In 1974, the IEDC program was launched in India. That is why answer is B. If a student in your class is comfortable using his or her left hand, what would you do as a teacher? Say for example, a student is writing with his or her left hand. Then what should you do? Definitely we don't have any problem. Everyone is having their own choice. That means D will be the right answer. Allow the person to use hand according to their preference. Whatever their feasibility is, whatever they want to do, or whatever hand they want to use, they can use. Next question. A child with visual impairment maximizes learning with the help of. That means, say for example, a student with visual impairment is studying in our class. What would give him the help? Kinesthetic system, that means bodily system, no. Auditory system, no. Learning aids, no. Tactile input. Tactile means if you have seen Braille language, that means there are some pick points in a slate board. Wherever he touches, the letter is typed as A, B, C, like that. Okay, that is tactile input, so that they can read the papers as well as read the contents. Next, combining computing, telecommunication, and media in a digital atmosphere is referred to as. If we combine computing, telecommunication, media, everything, then it will be called as online communication? No. Chat room? No. Convergence? No. That means it is integrated media, integration of computing, telecommunication, as well as media. Learning by doing and experiencing the consequences of your actions is. That means learning by doing. You are doing and you are learning at the same time, and with this you are gaining experience, and the consequence, that means result, is what? Result is in problem solving. That means if you have learned the skill of doing, skill of experience, and consequences will be problem solving. You have done already you have experienced the thing, you have known the thing. Now you can solve the problem in your life. The main argument in favor of textbook is, what is a textbook? It is easily available. It helps developing creativity of the children, costs less, ascertains a minimum authentic content to be covered by the learner. That means the answer is definitely C, because in a textbook there are certain contents, but not all the contents. Say for example, in our history book there are history content, but it is not all the history classes are written in a single book. That means textbook is just a limited type of content provided to the learner. In which of the following curricular approaches the learner enjoys maximum autonomy or freedom? Learner is free in subject-centered approach? No. In teacher-centered approach? Definitely not. In activity-centered approach, sometimes people say activity-centered is good for children. Yes, it is good, but in activity-centered approach, the teacher will say, the teacher will assign the activity to you. This task is to be done by you. This task is to be done by Mr. B, like that. But in experience-centered approach, the student gets much autonomy, because it is based on his or her own experience. So it is of your own experience, that is why you are very much free. The main objective of CCE or continuous comprehensive evaluation is, now what is continuous and comprehensive evaluation? Continuous means, that means test, or you can say exam, in a fixed interval, in a fixed interval. Say for example, in every 3 months, every 6 months, like that. Comprehensive means both scholastic, that means curricular, as well as co-scholastic, that means the literary activities, drama, etc. So both the concepts, continuous comprehensive evaluation means continuously you will be evaluated on the basis of your scholastic as well as co-scholastic achievement. So main objective is what? Is to lay emphasis on thought process and de-emphasize memorization. Memorization means rote learning. Earlier people memorized, used to memorize things like India got independence in 1947, 1947, 1947, like this. Now the process has been changed and you have to de-emphasize memorization and promote CCE. A child with impairment may experience disability when? Now see, many people are impaired, but they do not feel that they are impaired because many students are supporting them. But the student will definitely experience the disability. They will definitely feel that yes, I am disabled. When? At the stage where he or she is constantly compared to other children who perform well in certain tasks. Say for example, a student is not able to walk properly because he or she has lost her legs. Now a student will definitely a student comes to him and compares himself with the PWD or person with disability. He or she says, yes, now see, I have legs, I can run, I can jump, you cannot do that. Then at that point of time, the child will definitely feel embarrassed of his or her impairment. Getting my point? Next. What is the name of the process of making value judgment based on quantitative or qualitative data collected over a period of time? Wherever you see value judgment, you can definitely say the answer. You don't have to go through the option. It is evaluation, because evaluation is what we call as value judgment of a performance. Value judgment means every time it is evaluation. There is no such other answer. In a selection test, passouts of different boards are competing. What is the best technique to interpret their scores on achievement? Now, there are different boards, there are different batch of students they have passed. Now, how to interpret the score and what techniques that we should follow? Mean, median, respective, t-test, range of respective board, but t-score. T-score means the deviation of the scores from the t value, or t is equal to t-score is equal to what? 10z plus 50. It is the formula, right? 10z is plus 50. Next. Students with low sense of self-efficacy attribute their poor performance to. That means if you are not sufficient enough or efficient enough, you don't feel that yes, I am capable enough, then you will produce what? You will produce lack of effort. Lack of effort. You cannot take proper steps at proper time. Next. When a student can correctly categorize a geometrical shape, he or she demonstrates. If a student can correctly categorize geometrical shape, yes, it is triangle, yes, it is square, it is rectangle, right? So definitely he or she is having what? He or she is having conditional knowledge, because he or she can identify the pictures properly, shapes properly. Which of the following resources has maximum scope of social development of the learner? That means which of the following, museum, laboratory, community library, which of the following resources has maximum scope for social development of the learner? Definitely it is community, because community is having ample amount of resources for your social development. Next, while teaching as per a lesson plan, generally teachers give least weightage to. Least means the um, you know the minimum weightage to what? while preparing a lesson plan. Testing previous knowledge, motivatory question, presentation, blackboard writing. Definitely it is motivatory question. We have to teach the question, teach the concept. Not you have to motivate the people every time. You have to motivate them, but you cannot ask motivatory question every time and you will delay your studies. Next, adjustment assessment, materials, curriculum or classroom environment to accommodate a student's needs so that he or she can participate in and achieve the teaching learning goals is known as a long definition of individualized education plan. I have already told you that it means assessment, material, curriculum, classroom, everything is to be accommodated according to the student need. Whatever the student wants, he or she will be given the materials, right? That is why it is called as individualized education program. It focuses on each student. Next, a teacher makes a conscious effort to behave in an acceptable manner with the expectation that the student will respond similarly. That means, say for example, you becomes a teacher. Now you are a teacher. Teacher is always respected in your society. That is why a teacher should behave like a teacher so that everyone would follow. So this principle is called as what? This is called as modeling. You are a role model for others. That is why you are modeling. You are showing a good behavior and you are behaving in a proper way so that others will, follow your footsteps, footmarks. Which of the following is used to encourage students' interaction? Student will interact in which of the following? It is definitely not drama, not debate. In debate, they talk to each other. They don't talk to each other, they argue with each other, not in music, but in language game. Language game means you provide a, say for example, we sometimes call it as Antakshari, right? So in language games, you provide a word and they will tell the spelling, then definitely they will give you one and you will spell them, etc. In order to be of maximum effectiveness of the reinforcement of a given response must. Reinforcement is what? Reinforcement means when you complete certain task, you will be given some reinforcement. That means reward or punishment. Reward or punishment. That is known as reinforcement. And it should be, means at what time we should provide the reinforcement. Suppose say for example, I have completed the task given by my teacher. Then definitely I'll show it to the teacher. Then the teacher will say, okay, I'll check it. And after one day, he will say, wow, very good, you have done good. Then I will not be motivated. If the teacher would have checked at the same time and would have praised me, wow, you have done great, then definitely I would have been motivated. Okay, so definitely the reinforcement should be given immediately upon the response, immediately after the response. A unit of teaching can have unit of teaching. That means whenever you are going to teach, you should take a lesson plan and you should teach accordingly. Now, what does a unit of teaching means? It means only one concept at a time. That is what I am telling, that a teacher should always teach a concept at a time. Okay, not one chapter complete, not several chapter, not one chapter with one concept. No, we should always teach a concept only. Who is credited for giving a curricular model? Very easy question. Curriculum model, development of curriculum model is developed by Hilda Taba, and this model is known as inductive model of curriculum design. Inductive model. Another is deductive model. Deductive model given by Ralph Tyler. Ralph Tyler. Inductive model is also known as grassroots model. We will discuss all these models in detail in your class. Don't be worried. Okay, join our Telegram. I will share all the links of the classroom as well as PDF. Next is, which of the following are being needs in Maslow hierarchy of need? Being need. esteem need, cognitive need, aesthetic need, love and belongingness. So it is quite contrary. Contrary means many people have not heard of the being need, but actually it is cognitive and aesthetic need. And how we will discuss now. Now see, esteem need is there in green, love and belonging in yellow, and self-actualization, that means in violet, or we can say blue. It is self-actualization, and this is where your cognitive development happens, right? Next, the first satellite for serving the education sector. One of the easiest question, and the same question is repeated many a times. First satellite for education is EduSat, educational satellite or EduSat. Okay. Central ideals in constructive views of learning is or are. That means, what do you mean by constructivist? Constructivists say that the students will construct knowledge. Construct means to prepare knowledge. Construct knowledge in their own mind. In their own mind. Okay, that means the teacher will not teach the student what should they teach, but the student will try to construct knowledge in his own mind according to his or her own ability. Okay, the teacher is just a propagator. So learners are active in constructing their own knowledge. Prior knowledge and belief of the student are key input. Teachers have deep conceptual knowledge. Social interaction are important in knowledge construction. Now you have to match them with the codes. Now see, they are very active in constructing their own knowledge. Prior knowledge, that means the previous knowledge, belief of the student are also important. They have deep conceptual knowledge. And then it is saying social interactions are important in knowledge construction. Social interaction are important. Now, third option is not there. Why? Because conceptual knowledge is not necessary for constructing a knowledge. That means a concept. That is why D is the correct answer. Next is, which of the following is not a developmental disorder? Developmental means a type of disorder which you know uh, which is seen at the early stages, and it grows with you gets older and the disease get older. And which is not a developmental disorder, it is dyslexia, reading or comprehension disorder, you can say learning disorder. Rest of them, autistic spectrum disorder, ADHD, cerebral palsy, these are developmental disorder. Developmentally, they are different. But dyslexia is not developmental; it is quite contextual, right? So the last question of the day: summative assessment is not usually used for. Summative, that is done at the end of any course, any program, or any year. It is not used for awarding grades. Yes, it is done. Promotion of next grade. Yes. Classification. Yes. But not for remediation. Remediation means solution to a problem. It is not done for the solution of a problem. Okay. Now, success takes time because every perfect thing takes time to happen. That is why your success is also taking time, because every perfect thing takes time to happen. This is by me, Sam. Thank you for watching, and subscribe the channel, like the session if this class seems helpful to you.